Hello, good evening, and welcome back to Poem Praise 2. And certainly peace and blessings be upon you. Next in line, like I said before, is going to be George Washington Carver, certainly a scientist and an educator, between a time period of 1861 to 1943. And it reads as such: Education is the key to unlock the golden door of freedom. George Washington Carver. Now, most people just eat peanuts. George Washington Carver developed 325 different products from them, including coffee, face powder, ink, butter, shampoo, vinegar, soap, and wood stains. Now, Carver was born of slave parents in 1861 on a plantation belonging to Moses and Susan Carver near Diamond, Missouri. When he was just a baby, Carver and his mother were kidnapped and taken to Arkansas. Within a short time, George was returned to the Carver plantation, but his mother was never found. A sickly child, he was unable to do heavy work and instead spent much of his time wandering in the nearby woods, collecting flowers and plants. Now, after the Civil War, George and his brother James continued to live on the Carver plantation, where George taught himself to read. At age 10, he left the plantation. For the next few years, he worked at odd jobs and attended school whenever he could. Finally, he enrolled at Minneapolis High School in Kansas and won a scholarship to attend Highland University. When he showed up at Highland, however, the school refused to admit him because he was black. Carver was not discouraged. He continued to work and save money. Years later, he was accepted at Simpson College in Iowa, where he supported himself by ironing clothes for fellow students. Although Carver was artistically inclined, he was more interested in science. With the help of his art teacher, he was accepted at Iowa Agricultural College in 1891. His work in botany and chemistry was so outstanding that upon graduation, he was asked to stay on as an assistant instructor and director of the greenhouse. While teaching, Carver continued his own research. He conducted important investigations into several varieties of fungi that damaged wheat, soybeans, oats, blackberries, and maple trees. In 1896, Carver received a letter from Booker T. Washington, founder of Tuskegee Institute in Alabama, asking him to work there. Tuskegee was a poor school and could not offer him much in the way of salary or laboratory equipment. Nevertheless, Carver agreed to go. At Tuskegee, Carver developed a system of crop rotation. He planted legumes, crops such as peanuts, which replenished nitrogen in the soil. One year followed by cotton the next year. The purpose of rotation was to keep the soil rich and improve the harvest. This system became so successful that an oversupply of peanuts resulted. Carver responded by coming up with more than 24 uses for the crop. Soon farmers were making more money raising peanuts than they made harvesting cotton. While continuing to develop use for the peanut, Carver began to experiment with the sweet potato. Before long, he had discovered 118 products that could be made from it, including dyes, ink, and synthetic rubber. As his work progressed, he was visited by the Crown Prince of Sweden and the British Prince of Wales. Thomas Edison asked him to join his staff at a yearly salary of more than $100,000. Automobile manufacturer Henry Ford also made a generous offer. Carver preferred to remain at Tuskegee. Unconcerned about money or material possessions, Carver concentrated on his research, hoping to improve the lives of African American farmers. It has always been the one great ideal of my life, he said, to be of the greatest good to the greatest number of my people. I'm going to just let you marinate on that. Just let that sink in. He had a purpose. And he was determined for his purpose. No amount of money could deter him from his purpose. So I'm going to certainly let you hear that again, that it has always been the one great ideal of my life, he said, to be of the greatest good to the greatest number of my people. Now Carver, he died in 1943. The George Washington Carver National Monument and Museum, located in southwestern Missouri, commemorates this extraordinary man. All right, I'd certainly like to thank you for just marinating with me in regards to those words that Mr. Carver said. And this is certainly the end for this, for John Washington Carver. I'm going to certainly give you a preview of our next extraordinary African American. It's going to be Granville T. Woods, an inventor. The time period 1856 to 1910. Now, what did he invent? Good question, right? Well, certainly please stay tuned to Poem Praise 2, because that is what's going to be coming up next for you, certainly if it's in thy will, and it'll just be in a little bit, and we're going to find out, what did Mr. Woods invent? All right, until then, later, y'all.